Welcome to the DIY Floral Challenge for the summer edition. Lindsay and I are so excited for everyone that is participating in this challenge that we put out about a month ago. We did one back in spring. If you missed those videos, I will link them up here and down below so you can check those out. Today, I'm going to show you how to make a DIY throw pillow for the ground in the shape of a flower. Oh, and if you haven't already clicked that subscribe button down below, don't forget to click it so that you don't miss any other videos coming up in the future. Guys, I am real big on learning opportunities for my kids, so I decided to allow Miriam to help me with this project since I learned how to sew when I was 6. What you're going to need for this project is several different patterns of fabric that you would like for the back side and front side of the petals and then the center of the flower. And you're going to need some stuffing and 2 different size plates. So to cut out the center part of my flower, I basically laid down my plate and cut around it. And like I said, I did one that was bigger and one that was smaller, and when I lay them on top of each other, you can see that there are the 2 different sizes, and this is for the larger flower and the smaller flower. When I can avoid it, I like to make my own pattern. I learned how to make patterns years ago as a teenager, and so I have never looked back. But basically what I do is I lay down a couple pieces of computer paper, I tape them together to the size that I need, and then I use a pencil to sketch out the design that I want, and then I cut out the petal. And yes, I've even done this for making dresses and skirts and costumes. Once my pattern is ready, I lay it on top of my fabric and I cut out 5 backs for my flower petal and 5 fronts for my flower petal. And the large petal is 17 inches wide and 21 inches tall, just so you can kind of roughly see how big it is. And then for the smaller flower petals, again, I do 5 fronts and 5 backs, and that one is 8 inches wide and 11 inches tall. Here you can see the different sizes. And then once everything's all cut out, I take a back and a front, making sure the pattern is on the inside. I pin them together, I sew them, and then after I'm all done sewing it all the way around, making sure that the seam is nice and sturdy, that it's not too loose because I'm going to be stuffing these really full, I then snip around the sides to make sure that when I flip it inside out, it doesn't have any pulling or any tautness in the fabric. Here are all of the petals laid out, sewn together, and flipped to the correct way so that you can see them all. I have 5 petals for the smaller pillow and 5 petals for the bigger one. And then you just simply stuff it to the fullness that you want it to be. I wanted mine to be very fluffy since she's going to be sitting and laying on these pillows on the floor. And then once you get all the padding inside, I like to kind of massage it a little so that it lays a little bit flat, but it's still kind of puffy and full. Once all of my petals were stuffed, it was time to go ahead and pin on the center part of the flower. I did the back side first. I pinned it on and then went all the way around with all 5 of the petals. And once everything was pinned in place, I was ready to do a zigzag stitch all the way around the whole petal, making sure that everything was sewn into place. I found it was easier to do it this way, to sew on the bottom of it, and then once that was all sewn into place, I could flip it over and sew on the top so that it wouldn't cause that many problems for me to get it through my sewing machine. As you can see, the petals are really large, and so it's kind of tricky to get it through a sewing machine. So just know that the larger the pillow you make, you might end up having to sew it by hand, because I ended up actually having to have that done for my larger pillow. The smaller one I was able to get to fit through my sewing machine, but the larger one I had to sew by hand. So here I am back at the small pillow, showing how I'm pinning on the front part of it, and once I sewed about 3/4 of the way around, I stopped I filled in the center part, so that part was nice and poofy too, so she can set her little bum in there. And then I just sewed down the rest of it so that none of the batting would ever fall out. And here they all are, all sewn and together. Aren't they just so girly and adorable? I absolutely love how these turned out, and they are such a hit with Miriam. She loves them so much, and now she just wants to lay on them and sit on them, and it's such a good compromise being that she just was not a fan of sitting on the couch. She's just such a funny little girl. She loves to lay on the floor when she's watching TV or reading books, and so I figured this would be a great way for her to stay cozy. Thanks again everyone for participating in this challenge and watching this video. Remember to give this video a thumbs up, click that subscribe button, and if you haven't already checked out Lindsey's video, you are here at my channel first. Make sure you go to her down in my description box below to check her out. Her video is super cute. You're going to love her project. Bye guys.